Thank you for visiting the Combs Waterkotte website and our Drug Charges and Possession Defense Lawyer in Missouri website page. Regardless of the crime, we believe everyone is entitled to the best possible legal defense in the state of Missouri. We have created this audio version of our website page to help you better understand our services and protect your future, freedom, and reputation. If you have been charged with drug charges or drug possession in the state of Missouri, we can help. Don't face the state and court system alone during your drug or drug possession charge. Contact one of our Missouri drug charge defense lawyers today at 314-900. Help to protect your rights and future. Combs Waterkotte is committed to handling all drug charges and possession defense cases with confidential care and understanding. We are not here to judge you. We believe that everyone in Missouri, regardless of the crime they have been charged with, deserves an aggressive legal defense and to have their legal rights protected. With that being said, let's discuss hiring our drug charges and possession lawyers in Missouri and setting up a free consultation with our attorneys. Drug charges and possession lawyer in Missouri. Protect your freedom and future. If you find yourself accused of drug charges or possession, you are probably very afraid that a conviction could bring an unwanted burden for years to come. At Combs Waterkotte, our St. Louis drug charges and possession lawyers take on the challenge and fight on your behalf. As the leading Missouri criminal defense firm, we know how to achieve the best possible resolution to your case. Drug cases we handle in Missouri. When you are caught with drugs in your possession, you are at immediate risk of being charged with a felony and possibly going to jail. Unfortunately, even a very small amount of drugs on your person can lead to a Class D felony, which usually results in several years incarceration. Protect your rights and freedom with Combs Waterkotte. Contact one of our criminal defense lawyers today at 314-900, help for a confidential consultation. With such severe penalties in play, our firm finds it critical to move quickly to build your defense. But our firm will also work hard to formulate a defense strategy that is intended to get your charges reduced. We are experienced in proposing alternative diversion programs for rehabilitation instead of punishment. These include drug treatment, drug courts, as well as drug counseling. Furthermore, our firm has worked on a multitude of drug possession cases and delivered positive outcomes in most cases. We handle possession or control. RSMO Section 579.015. If you knowingly possess any controlled substance without authorization, for example, a prescription, it is a crime. It is a Class D felony. We specialize in heroin possession, methamphetamine possession, cocaine possession, prescription drug possession, possession with intent to distribute, RSMO Section 579.020. If you distribute or attempt to distribute a controlled substance, have paraphernalia which can be used to distribute, such as scales or bags, or have a large enough quantity, you can be charged with intent to distribute. The charge is anything from a Class E to Class B felony. Drug paraphernalia, RSMO Section 579.040. If you deliver, distribute, or sell drug paraphernalia, knowing that it will be used to manufacture, distribute, or use a controlled substance, it is a Class A misdemeanor. If it's done for commercial purposes, it's a Class E felony. Marijuana charges. Missouri voters recently passed Amendment 3, which legalizes the recreational possession and use of marijuana. However, the manufacture and distribution is still illegal for those without the proper license from the state. The amendment also allows people incarcerated for nonviolent marijuana offenses to petition for release, parole, or probation, and to have their records expunged, Our Combs Waterkotte drug charge lawyers can also assist with this process. Drug trafficking, RSMO Section 579.065, RSMO Section 579.068. Drug trafficking is when you purchase, attempt to purchase, or bring into the state of Missouri a large quantities of controlled substance. First-degree drug trafficking is a Class B felony, or Class A felony, when it involves certain drugs and/or quantities. Second degree can be anywhere from a Class C to Class A felony. Drug manufacturing, RSMO Section 579.055. Growing, manufacturing, or producing a controlled substance is a Class C felony. It becomes a Class B felony if it's done within 2,000 feet of a school, and a Class A felony if someone suffered serious physical injury or died in an explosion resulting in methamphetamine production. We also take on drugs in vehicle and federal drug charges. Understanding drug schedules in St. Louis and Missouri. The state of Missouri allows the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to categorize controlled substances into 5 schedules. The schedule related to your drug crimes determines your potential sentence. The department categorizes them based on instructions from Missouri Revised Statute Section 195.017. Schedule I drugs are those that have the highest potential for abuse and have no accepted medical uses, and therefore carry the stiffest sentences. These include opiates, heroin, MDMA, LSD, hallucinogenic mushrooms, and other hallucinogenics. Schedule II drugs have a high potential for abuse and have an accepted medical use, even if severely restricted. They include cocaine, opium, oxy, and morphine. Schedule III drugs may lead to moderate or low physical dependence or high psychological dependence and have a currently accepted medical treatment. These include benzphetamine, drugs with a depressive effect, barbiturates, ketamine, certain quantities of codeine, anabolic steroids, and antidepressants. Schedule IV and Schedule V drugs include numerous prescription drugs. What an aggressive St. Louis, Missouri drug charges lawyer can do for you. It is crucial for anyone who has been charged with a St. Louis drug crime to get in contact with the most aggressive St. Louis drug possession lawyer they can find. The skilled St. Louis criminal defense lawyers at Combs Waterkotte will jump into your fight immediately and build your defense. As part of our zealous representation, we'll build a sound defense strategy, which may include presenting reasonable doubt, negotiating with prosecutor for reduced sentence or dismissal of charges, challenging chemical analysis of substance alleged to be drugs, disputing ownership and possession of the drugs, proving personal use versus intent to sell drugs, contesting evidence of the amount of drugs, challenging the legality of search and seizures, advocating for treatment and rehabilitation over incarceration. What is the sentencing for drug charges in St. Louis and Missouri? Your sentence, if convicted, is based on whether it's your first conviction, the drug or drugs related to your charge, and quantity involved. Sentencing guidelines for felonies and misdemeanors are Class A felony, 10 to 30 years in prison or life. Class B felony, 5 to 15 years in prison. Class C felony, 3 to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Class D felony, up to 7 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Class E felony, up to 4 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Class A misdemeanor, up to 1 year in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. Class B misdemeanor, up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Class C misdemeanor, up to 15 days in jail and a fine of up to $750. Class D misdemeanor, a fine of up to $500. Consequences of a drug conviction in St. Louis, Missouri. A drug conviction in St. Louis or Missouri can have far-reaching and long-lasting consequences that extend beyond the immediate legal penalties. An experienced St. Louis drug crimes attorney can help lessen these potential consequences. A drug conviction in St. Louis or Missouri results in a permanent criminal record. Our criminal defense lawyers may be able to help you get that record sealed or expunged. Employment opportunities may be limited due to background checks conducted by employers. Professional licenses and certifications may be at risk, as licensing boards can take disciplinary actions. Securing housing may become challenging, with landlords considering criminal records. Eligibility for financial aid, scholarships, or grants may be affected, impacting education affordability. Child custody arrangements may be complicated by a drug conviction. Non-U.S. citizens could face immigration consequences, including deportation or inadmissibility to the U.S. Social stigma accompanies a drug conviction, affecting personal relationships and reputation. International travel may be restricted due to certain drug convictions. For a felony conviction, you'll lose the right to vote until your sentence is completely served. Hire a top Street Louis, Missouri drug charges lawyer. Combs Waterkotte is second to none in terms of dedication, experience, and compassion when handling drug possession cases in St. Louis. You will find a path to a positive outcome to your St. Louis drug charge situation, not only in the courtroom but also in terms of recovery and wellness. We are ready to fight for you and your future. Contact us online or call us at 314-900. Help today for a free confidential consultation.